spend 5 minutes to go over the terms that we'll be using in this course. Over the course, you're going to hear about these terms. It's important you have a basic understanding conceptually what these terms are. I would like you to spend some time to remember this and then take down notes and come back when you hear this term in the course and you don't understand. This should give you some good idea what these terms are for, and then kind of put it in the bigger picture of the system we build, and then connect all the dots together. It's going to take time for you to learn all of this, but right now let's just go through this for now. First is TensorFlow. TensorFlow is a framework provided by Google to develop and train ML models. Nowadays, there are two types of main framework. One is TensorFlow, the other is PyTorch. In this course, I use TensorFlow to build and train one of the AI ML model for ranking system. So TensorFlow is a framework by Google to develop and train ML model. In order to use a model, you need to train a model first. Second important term is VectorDB. A VectorDB is a specialized database to store a sparse and a dense vectors. I can explain that later in more detail, but let's just keep in mind what the vector is just represent the semantic meaning of the words or the sentence. So there is a model you can use, which you translate your words and the sentence into multi-dimensional vector. Then you can use these vectors to do similarity search. Let's say you want to ask for good restaurant in New York City. The embedding system will translate this to a vector with a matrix. These are all numbers. And in the database, the vector database, it stores all the related restaurants in New York City with another vector set. When you do a similarity search, is using the query comes in, we translate into the vectors, and then the existing restaurant that is also stored in the vector database as vector, and then using a similarity search. There are different mathematical formula for that. One of the popular ones is cosine. Third important one is transformer embedding. That's related to the vector DB. What it does is convert a sentence or words into multidimensional vectors. The model used to transform embedding are provided by the open source. One of the famous ones, Hugging Face, or company like OpenAI. Does is translate your sentence words into vector with mathematical vectors, and then you can do mathematical calculation to do the similarity search. LangChain. LangChain is a framework that helps you to build your AI application, AI ML application. You abstract out a lot of underlying detail, so you can use LangChain to integrate it with different ML model. The one we talked about, the previous one, the Hugging Face transforming and embedding models. And there are various tooling that is also abstract out, such as the vector database, which you put your embedding vector into the vector database. Neural network. Neural network is a network artificial neuron programming software. You're trying to simulate the human brain, so each layer of neurons like neurons in our brain. There are various mathematical functions that you use as part of the neuron and in the layers, number of neurons, the number of layers, then there's activation function. If you talk about neural network, you use forward propagation, backward propagation, and various optimizer for gradient descent to develop a model. If you want to learn more about this, deep learning.ai is the best for you to learn the neural network. PyCon. PyCon is a vendor for a vector database. Remember we talked about a vector DB to store the vector representation for semantic meanings of the words and sentence. So one of the vendors called PyCon is a pretty powerful vector database. It provides lots of good example if you want to get more hands-on experience of various AI implementation using PyCon. I highly recommend this one. OpenAI so far, everybody knows ChatGPT. To me, it's the best large language models right now in the market. Ranking system. What's the ranking system? If you go to Yelp, you go to Google, video, YouTube, they give a list of a video of a list of recommended restaurant, a list of recommended vendors. They have their own model to rank the items based on this person's past activities and other related people's rating. So if someone which like Italian cuisine or like Chinese cuisine, they could also be related to you, and then the model is trained with those data, and then recommend you the restaurant and the vendors based on the rating and rank they do it for you. And lastly, important is the Yelp sample data. This is a sample data set. If you want to learn and build a ranking system, I'd recommend using this data set. I hope that gives you a good idea what are different terms. And please come back to this course if you, on the later stage of course, you find something that is not confusing to you, come back to this and then try to connect the dots. Thank you.